Mine damer og herrer, velkommen tilbage til Mandemus kanal. Det er en fornøjelse, I valgte at tune ind i dag, fordi i dag, der skal vi til at varme op til EM. Jeg tror, det er om 12 dage, der spiller Danmark sin første kamp til EM-slutrunden i 2024. Og jeg fandt ham her, Michael Talk Football, og han har lavet EM Preview. Jeg gætter på, alle hold. Hold da kæft, han har også lavet Copa America Preview, og jeg ved ikke hvad. Nå, anyways, den her var der med Danmark. Hvad fanden? Det er bare den, der exploded nærmest mest. Det der med Danmark. Nå, big up. Anyways, den røg faktisk ud af for 2 uger siden. Jeg har ikke fået den set. Jeg ved ikke, om der er andre, der reagerede på den, eller et eller andet. Har jeg gjort det? Måske, I don't know. Jeg kan faktisk, ærligt talt, jeg ved det faktisk ikke. Men jeg tænkte, det var da en meget fin måde lige at varme op til. Og så synes jeg også, det er altid sjovt, når nogen fra andre lande nævner Danmark. Let's be real. Så høre historien lidt udefra, glæder jeg mig til. Hvis jeg er lidt fedtet rundt om munden i dag, så er det fordi, vi er i gang med at tylle en bunke skyr ned. Så ikke judge mig. Jeg spiser ligesom I også gør. Det må jeg også gerne. Der skal også være plads til, at jeg får lov til at spise, okay? Men like, subscribe, og lad os da se, hvad han har at give os et preview på EM 2024. Jeg skal være lige sige, der er nogle træningskampe, jeg kan fulgt så meget med i, og lidt af hvert. Så det kan være, at jeg får lidt mere insider-viden her omkring, hvad der sker. Jeg ved jo i dag, hvor den her video højst synligt røde, der spiller Danmark jo en første træningskamp, eller testkamp, eller whatever. Så den glæder mig faktisk lidt til at se. Men anyways, for helvede, Matt, hvorfor skal du snakke så meget? Skulle lige ud med frustrationer, sorry.
Welcome to episode 10 of Euro Previews. Today's episode is on the country that captured the minds of everybody at the last Euro.
Who are you? Okay.
And that's Denmark. But after that sensational run in 2021, they had an absolute flat faxecondi and wet the bed at the World Cup. Can the
Okay, true.
fortunes change for this national team?
Fucking faxecondi, bro, han kaster en faxecondi på.
Can they perform at this Euros? What will be the starting lineup, and what will be the future of Kasper Hjulmand if it does?
Damn, bro, looking kind of good, I can't lie. Okay, sorry.
Let's go back. Further ado, let's get into the preview and prediction for Denmark at this summer's Euros. So Denmark's history in Euros is wonderful. They have won the European Championship in 1992 with the sensational team that they had. And since then, it's been group stage, quarterfinals in 2004, and the group stage in 2012, where they were in a very tough group. And they made it to the semifinals of the last Euros. So Denmark clearly are a team, when you think about European history, are a tough side to play. They're going to make it difficult defensively. They have very good attackers all the time. Very good creative number 10s. Ja. Can they just piece it together?
Jeg ved ikke lige, hvor mange nummer 10'er vi har i truppen nu, men fair.
Well, they did that in 1992. And in last Euros, lost the first 2 games. Remember, people, Denmark lost the first 2 games to my nation, Finland. Obviously, a very unfortunate scenario.
Er det lige pludselig ikke så fedt længere, som jeg troede?
In that game. And somehow they recovered, they rediscovered their form, they played a
Det er fuldstændig vanvittigt, vi røg videre fra gruppen med 3 point. Altså, let's be real, det er fuldstændig sindssygt. Men ja, Finland-kampen, altså man glemmer faktisk lidt, vi tabte den, men ja, Højbjerg brændte straffe og alt muligt. Så tabte vi jo selvfølgelig til Belgien, der var jeg inde og se. Og så vender vi bare fucking stort over Rusland, som gør vi over videre. Det er faktisk sindssygt.
Beautiful attacking football and made it to the semifinal, and then we know what happened at Wembley. Denmark, I always appreciate
sindssyg beslutning, man. Jamen overvej, hvis Danmark var kommet til en fucking EM-final.
Not a huge population, but what they have is good organization. Their league has completely transformed like the last 3 decades. Now you see teams like Midtjylland doing well with the right academy connection. Obviously Midtjylland with the scouting they do. Brøndby, who will always be a competitive side in Denmark, and then FC Copenhagen, who always Europe and just made it to around the
different. Let's be real.
That just shows you Danish football is getting better and better and better.
Men det er true. Altså for mange år siden var det et mirakel, hvis der bare var et hold, der var ude at spille et eller andet europæisk, så var man tilfreds. Nu er det sådan, at nu forventer man nærmest, at FCK selvfølgelig spiller europæisk hvert år, men forventer, at Brøndby eller Nordsjælland eller whatever, for eksempel næste år her, de skal spille Conference League eller Europa League eller sådan noget lignende. Det er bare forventningen.
The players play for big clubs. I envy Denmark a lot because as a fellow Nordic country, what I see Denmark do consistently with the sort of ballers they produce and able to have crazy transfers from Nordsjælland to other European sides or FC København.
Kan han ikke please stoppe med at sige Nordsjælland sådan der? Please. Jeg kan ikke. Så gider jeg ikke se videoen. Jeg gider faktisk ikke se videoen længere. Nu får han en sidste chance.
To other European sides, I'm like, you can only applaud and say, Danish football is doing it right. But with the history of the Euros, it's been, inconsistent. Good performances, inconsistent performances. We saw the last World Cup. I mean, that last World Cup was so bad. It just seemed unless it could be
Ham
outside circumstances.
Altså, ikke at man glemmer det, vel? Men altså, overvej, at vi var i en gruppe med Tunesien og Australien. Og vi endte sidst i gruppen. jeg ved ikke, hvad jeg skal sige. Men, det lyder mærkeligt at sige der, fordi jeg ved selvfølgelig godt i forhold til Europa og alt det der. Men hvis vi var i noget lignende samme gruppespil til EM, og vi gik videre, det er jo katastrofalt. Jeg vil sige, at vi er en svær EM-gruppe, en VM-gruppe, men det vil være sindssygt. Og det vil være endnu mere sindssygt, ja, hvis så som Australien var med til EM.
This is why the team didn't perform. It was terrible. The team looked like they didn't want to be there. They played like it, and Kasper Hjulmand, I don't think he could get any sort of message across. I think the players were like, F this, we're going home. And they played like it, and they went out of the group stage. So can they turn around at this Euros? No doubt. They have the quality to do so. And I was fortunately able to watch a lot of Denmark during the qualifiers because they were in the same group as Finland. And one thing I could say about Denmark is they didn't play with that same sort of flair and attacking creativity that they did in 2020 and 2021. Where I'm like, Joachim Mahler is balling out, Mikael Damsgaard, everybody's just playing with such confidence. Now it's a bit more hesitant, I feel like. Remember, they were 2-0 up away at Kazakhstan and lost 3-2.
Yeah.
They drew with Slovenia. They lost Northern Ireland. Yeah, they maybe
bro spytter lige nu.
I can't remember exactly. And then they drew in Switzerland and beat Faroe. I mean, if they lost Faroe Islands. So Denmark, during these qualifiers, they were not overly convincing. That's one thing you could say.
Nej, det er fordi, du kan jo kigge på sejrene derovre og tænke, okay, altså, der er meget grønt der, men altså, for helvede, vi skulle have vundet den her, vi skal vinde den her, altså, vi skal fucking vinde det. Jeg ved faktisk ikke, den her Nordirland, var det ikke den der, hvor der ikke var noget på spil længere? Men den der Kazakhstan der, det var fuldstændig sindssygt.
Did we look really good? Do we look like that same?
Vi så aldrig gode VM-kvalden.
I wonder if the confidence of this team has gone down since that World Cup.
VM-kvalden var fucking sindssygt.
Having a shock exit like that, mentally it can affect a team and affect the manager. When I was watching the games, and especially the game here in Finland, I was at that game.
Nej, bro, det er ikke fordi, jeg skal pause for meget med. Men vi er jo legit gået fra, at altså, jeg tror, hvis du lavede en afstemning lige nu, non-biased, jeg tror legit 60% af folk, der stemmer lige nu fra Danmark, vil stemme på, at vi rører ud af gruppen til EM. Vi er gået fra det, til at vi tilbage for 2 år siden, predicted alle Danmark til at skulle komme i VM, kvartfinal, semifinal, og jeg ved ikke hvad. Vi legit, vi er jo så gået fra det, til netop knap nok kunne gå videre fra en EM-gruppe. Det er sindssygt.
I just kept looking at Denmark, I'm like, they're not gonna score here. They had no creativity. They couldn't create anything out wide. They couldn't create anything down the middle. And the only goal in that game was a stunner by Højbjerg. Other than that, Finland were comfortable. So Denmark have to find that creative edge that they had. They have a wonderful striker in Rasmus Højlund, but the other players got to step up. There is definitely quality.
Jeg prøver lidt for meget med de der navne der.
Rasmus Højlund. There's quality on this team.
Det er sindssygt.
But the one thing they have shown in these qualifiers is they're not clicking right now. They got 2 games in June against Sweden and Norway. We'll see how they do in those friendlies, and can they find that sort of chemistry that they did in 2021? Or is it now like we got an older generation, we got a little bit of a middle generation, and we have some young and up-and-coming players?
Vi har bestemt et generationsskifte
at the moment. Disaster of a World Cup. Couldn't find any formation, 0 tactics, and it just seemed like he had no connection with the players. But we cannot deny, in 49 games in charge of Denmark, he has 31 wins, 5 draws, 13 losses. That's a 63 winning percentage. That's absurd. That's actually fantastic. Yes, you can talk about the opponents that they have faced, like San Marino and other teams.
Det er jo ikke imponerende modstander udover måske slutrunden.
Kasper Hjulmand, is he under pressure to perform at this Euros?
Yeah.
I would say yes. Yeah. Because after having a debacle of a World Cup like that, you need to respond as a...
Hvis vi rører ud af gruppen, vi ikke spiller godt fodbold, og det ligner noget hovedløft, altså ligesom VM-slutrunden, så skal han fyres. Den er ikke længere.
Manager, you need to find the right formation. And I feel like during the qualifiers, they would go from 3-4-3, 4-3-3, then a 3-5-2. He just tries so many different formations. Either he's just trying to find the perfect one to use at the Euros, or he's confused on
det får vi at se de næste 2 testkampe
with the players I have.
Mod Sverige og Norge.
He's gotta show at this Euros that he is a good manager, which he is. He is a good manager. He showed it at the last Euros. If he doesn't perform here, then I think the Danish FA have to say to themselves, might need to go in a new direction. But is he under pressure like Southgate or other managers? No, because those managers have really high expectations. The expectation for Denmark, I would say, is around a 16 quarterfinal performance. Somewhere around there.
Legit. hvis vi spiller nogenlunde til EM, vi går videre fra gruppen, og så vi rører ud i første knockout. Selvfølgelig afhængig af, hvilket hold vi rører ud til, så er det jo en tilfredsstillende nok slutrunde at gå videre fra gruppen, og så nå til første knockout. Det er det for Danmark. Det er også bare sådan en realistisk punkt. Jeg tror, det maksimale, man kan forvente, at Danmark skulle være, at du når et skridt videre. Altså, så ikke runde 1 knockout, men runde 2, som jo så må være været kvartfinale, eller 8-delfinale, I don't know. Sådan noget lignende. Det er det, vi max kan forvente, men det vil være en 100% godkendt slutrunde.
Can Kasper Hjulmand do that? Yep. With these players? He should. Rasmus Højlund. I saw the unfortunate experience of him scoring a hat-trick against my nation. I said, okay, this kid is for real. Like, he's good. I think that shows the quality that this striker has. I really like Rasmus Højlund. I think he gets a lot of stick at Man United, but Man United are a disaster.
Jeg føler, han har fået okay
clubs right now. We all know that. So,
det er måske også, fordi man nemt kan komme her.
Truly flourish, yes, with Ten Hag's tactics and everything going around United. The roof is leaking, all that sort of stuff. Yes, he's gonna face some adversity and criticism.
Jeg glæder mig faktisk virkelig til at se en slutrunde med Rasmus Højlund. Vi har oprigtigt en top klasse striker for en gang skyld.
Put all the pressure on this kid to score all the goals. Because do you think Antony's gonna score? Do you think Garnacho's going to score all the goals? Rashford? Højlund has had a lot of pressure to perform at an exceptional level when I don't think he's ready for that step. He's growing. He's growing into a player. In the past 3 years, he has gone from FC Copenhagen to Sturmgras, to Atalanta, to Man United. He spent 6 months at Sturmgras, I think 1 season at Atalanta, and then made the move to Manchester United.
So, seriøst, var det kun en sæson i Atalanta?
Constantly in the move. Different tactics here, from Gasperini to Ten Hag, to whoever the manager was at Sturmgras. You have to give him time. He is not that sort of player like Zlatan was at like 1920. Zlatan in 1920 was insane.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund is not that. Can Rasmus Højlund turn into a very good striker? No doubt. He can be. So at this Euros, I just want to see him do well. That's all. He's not under pressure to be the main guy for Denmark. But he can be. He just got 7 goals.
Jeg føler faktisk, altså, ikke presset er på ham, men det kommer det til at være. Han bliver jo main guy, Rasmus Højlund. Det bliver ham, man håber på, målene kommer fra. Så på den måde med, at presset kommer til at ligge på ham, det skal ikke lyde som en dårlig måde. Men på papiret lige nu, er Rasmus Højlund vel en af vores bedste spillere. Så selvfølgelig kommer der til at være noget pres på ham.
Goals and 12 appearances for Denmark. That's pretty good. For a guy who's only been with the national team, I think a year and a half or something like that. It's pretty good numbers. So he's going to have a lot of expectation with this Danish team, because if you look at their strikers, a lot of them, yeah, they're good, like Kasper Dolberg, but like I said at the last year, Kasper Dolberg will show you one good game and the rest, quiet. That's just my opinion at least. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I think these Euros are a good platform for Rasmus Højlund to show what sort of striker he is. Not the mess of Man United. He can be in a good environment with the Danish national team and flourish, and maybe they can play to his strengths. His strengths are making runs down the channel and linking up play. I think Rasmus Højlund has actually good link-up play. He's not going to be a guy
100%.
dribbling at defenders like that. No. He's a poacher, and he's an elite finisher. Can finish with the left foot, the right foot. I really like Rasmus Højlund. Hopefully he has a big Euros. Now let's get to lineups. This is going to be a very intriguing debate with this Danish national team, because they have gone 4-3-3, 3-4-3, 3-5-2. Kasper Hjulmand, I think, is confused on what is the best.
Jeg tror, vi kommer til, og ikke at det er det, jeg måske ønsker, men jeg tror, vi kommer til at spille 5-3-2. Det tror jeg. Og jeg tror, det bliver Joachim Arne. Ja, det starter den kan vi snakke på den tid på, anyways. Men jeg tror, vi stiller op i en 5-3-2. Jeg tror, det er det, Hjulmand vil. Men igen, det bliver sygt, de her 2 testkampe. Jeg har aldrig nogensinde været så på en eller anden måde excited eller spændt på 2 testkampe. Fordi igen, hvis de her 2 testkampe ikke viser os, hvordan vi starter op i vores første kamp mod Slovenien, det vil undre mig rigtig, rigtig meget. Altså, så er der et eller andet helt galt jo. Og det kan være sygt, hvis man så en surprise. Et eller andet. Jeg ved det ikke. Fucking Yusuf Poulsen som højre bak. I don't know.
Best formation with these players. So, let's have a debate. And you get your formations and you get your lineups in the comments down below. What should be the lineup and formation for Denmark at this Euros? In goal, of course, Kasper Schmeichel has done very well with the national team. But I do like this goalkeeper, Frederik Rønne from Union Berlin. I think he should be in contention to start at least. The 3 center backs, I would go with Joachim Andersen, Jannik.
Der kigger han nok lidt mere på de her ting frem for rent faktisk sådan, ja. Fordi det er vel... hvis Kasper Schmeichel bliver smidt af til den her slutrunde, hvilket han ikke gør, men hvis han gjorde, så tror jeg, at Mads Hermansen er den næste i rækken. Det tror jeg. Jeg ved bare ikke, om det er for tidligt. Altså, sådan, så krævede det selvfølgelig, at han havde noget her for de her 2 testkampe her, Mads Hermansen, men jeg føler, at han er den næste i rækken. Er jeg helt væk der?
Vestergaard and Andreas Christensen. Simon Kjær is a wonderful leader. We saw the documentary on Netflix of leaders, and he was just exceptional to how he presented himself as a captain. I have nothing about that. On the football field, though, you can just tell the legs are gone. He's just not that same guy like he was in 2021, where he had a real 100%. Presence on the team. He can be a presence as a leader, but on the field, that's where I would worry. And Christensen, I think, is a very good defender. Joachim Andersen has been beasting it with Crystal Palace lately. Yeah. Vestergaard can be a problem.
Hvis AC Joachim Andersen ikke starter, så er den helt galt.
But this is a good team still. Defensively, they can be strong. Joachim Male, I think, will be the right wing back, and the left wing back will be Victor Christensen from Bologna. That's a pretty good defense, if you ask me.
Ja, jo, det kunne godt være. Jeg ved ikke hvorfor, men jeg forestiller mig stadig lidt, at Hjulmand ikke har givet op på projekt venstre wingback med Joachim Malemann.
Midfield, though. Now, the midfield is another intriguing debate. I like Pierre Højbjerg, and I think he does perform for the Danish national team, so he's probably going to start. And then you need to have some legs, though, in the midfield. So if you're going to go with Thomas Delaney and Christian Eriksen, I think that's a recipe for disaster. What it should be, in my opinion at least, is obviously Pierre Højbjerg. I would start Morten Hjulmand. I think he's been excellent with Sporting this season. Obviously leading them to a Portuguese title. I think he's a really good player. Now, I know he's had a couple appearances with the Danish national team during qualifiers. I think he started that 2-0 away to Northern Ireland. Morten Hjulmand, if you watch his play, he can be that guy who can drive with the ball.
Jeg kan godt se ham spille, men jeg tror bare ikke, det kommer til at ske. Jeg tror ærligt talt, vi stiller op. Jeg tror faktisk, det bliver den her tremandsmidtbane. Ikke at det er den, jeg ønsker, men jeg tror, det bliver den. Jeg vil dog sige, hvis jeg selv skulle gøre noget, så tror jeg faktisk, altså jeg havde beholdt Højbjerg. Det havde jeg, fordi han er god for landsholdet. Han har ikke haft en god sæson for Tottenham, men han er god for landsholdet. Delaney havde jeg faktisk også beholdt derinde, hvilket nok er meget upopulær holdning, I don't know. Men igen, bare ekstremt god for landsholdet, var bare uheldig med en tidlig skade under VM sidste gang, men jeg er ret sikker på, at han stadig har benene i sig, så det er derfor, når han snakker om det der med at have altså legs til at være på midtbanen, det er netop det, jeg føler, at Thomas Delaney har. Og så havde jeg smækket Dams ind, ud fra hans forår for Brentford. Det er sådan de 3, jeg godt gad at se, måske ikke lige, hvor de står sådan her på linje, men noget lignende, det vil jeg acceptere. Men igen, sådan som Morten Hjulmand, jeg kender ikke nok til ham. Jeg har ikke set ham nok spille til at sådan kunne vurdere, om han burde starte for Danmark.
Christian Eriksen can just be the creator. One player I want to highlight though is Matt O'Reilly. I really like this guy from Celtic.
Ja, han er jo så ikke med.
Goals this season for a midfielder. And what do you go with up front? The issue is Mohamed Darami is out injured, which is
jeg
a shame
med Højlund
og
Jonas Vind.
Good minutes at Rem, and he's had a pretty good.
Jeg tror Andreas Skov Olsen til at ligge derop kunne også godt fungere, så skulle det være Andreas Skov Olsen og Højlund selvfølgelig.
And he's injured. It's a shame. But obviously Rasmus Højlund is going to start. Do you go with Kasper Dolberg next to him? What about Mikael Damsgaard? Is he that still the same guy? I know he's struggled with injury. He's not been great. Transferred to Brentford in the last couple of years. Andreas Skov Olsen from Club Brugge has also had a good year. So it's a bit of a conundrum for Kasper Hjulmand on what should be Denmark's starting 11. I think you need some legs in the midfield. That formation up top would be a disaster, especially with those 3 guys in the midfield, because they don't have the legs. They have the football IQ. They can read the game well. They can pass the ball
jeg ved ikke så meget med Delaney længere, fordi jeg følger ikke med belgisk fodbold. Jeg er enig med det omkring Eriksen. Højbjerg har benene i sig. Altså, jeg ved heller ikke, hvorfor folk er begyndt at putte Højbjerg i den her kategori, som om at han er gammel. Altså, han er vist 28 eller et eller andet sådan. Han er i sin prime, så han har benene i sig. Det vil jeg i hvert fald sige.
But if they're gonna play that sort of formation and line up against a France or an England or Portugal or Spain, they're going to get run over. Denmark have the ability to play different formations and different tactics, and we've seen that with Kasper Hjulmand.
Look, if they tried there.
To one formation for those 2 friendlies. Just test it out, and if it works, it works. You cannot change 4-3-3 one game, 3-4-3 the next game. I don't think it's going to work. You have to build the chemistry and have the same lineup as well, so the guys can build chemistry with each other. But let me know your thoughts, people. What would be your starting 11 for Denmark? So, how far will Denmark go at this Euros? I think for me, it's a round of 16 or a quarterfinal. Now, if they go out of the group stage in this group, they have a familiar opponent in Slovenia. They obviously beat them once and drew with them once. Then you have Serbia. Denmark are a better team than Serbia. I expect 3 points against Serbia. They can't defend. Rasmus Højlund should be eating in that game. And
okay. Så meget har jeg slet ikke forstået på Serbien. Jeg vil også sige, at Slovenien er et must-win. Serbien, tricky. England, jeg har lyst til at sige no chance. Ærligt talt. Jeg tror, vi får 4 point for gruppen. Som jo som godt kunne ende med at være godt nok. Jo,
in England, you can get a draw. Yeah, you can get a draw. So I think 6 points is feasible.
Jeg tror, vi får 4 point.
And that's clearly going to be enough to finish second in the group and advance to round of 16. Now, the problem will be if they go up against Germany or Italy or Spain, it's going to be a tough opponent. But Denmark have shown they can keep a clean sheet. They can score. But do they have the sort of quality within the entire squad to really surprise opponents? You know, on that run to the last Euros, they played Wales, Czech Republic, and obviously played England. So Denmark wants some revenge on England. That is for sure. So let me know your thoughts, people.
True.
I feel like Denmark are going to make it to the round of 16, and that's when they bow at home. And I don't think that's actually the worst of performances considering what we saw at the World Cup. The World Cup was a disgrace. If you can get a round of 16, good. Build some confidence, and then head into the World Cup qualifiers, and the goal is to qualify for the next World Cup. But thank you all for watching. There is the preview and prediction for Denmark at this Euros. Really intrigued to see.
Selv tak, ven. Kæmpe fornøjelse. Og i forhold til det med at kvalde til VM næste gang, det bliver vel endnu mere nemmere, end hvad det egentlig har været sidste gang, for eksempel, fordi der kommer flere hold med. Er det ikke noget med det? Nå, jamen det var en god video. Jeg synes faktisk, at spyttede mange facts. Ærligt talt, det gjorde han. Lidt med formationer spiller jeg måske lidt uenig i, men ellers så kunne jeg sgu egentlig meget godt lide det. Så big up til ham. Big up til den her video. Lad mig høre sagt i kommentarfeltet. Og selvfølgelig så kommer jeg til på FIFA-kanalen, bliver det jo så nok, at lave, jeg predicter EM 2024. Så det kan I holde øje med derinde. Smid like, tryk subscribe, og så ses vi jo bare i næste video. Peace!